It is good to see you here in Aachen, Herr General. Your skills will truly be put to the test in Operation Fall Gelb, von Manstein's plan to attack against the Low Countries. As you may know, there is a lot of talk among certain generals that this plan will achieve nothing but a panzer graveyard. Prove them wrong and gain him as a powerful friend. Your primary objective is to break through the defending French, British and Belgian troops to reach the English Channel. High Command believes we can push all the way to the White Cliffs of Dover themselves if we are able to capture our objectives quickly enough. Utilizing the Ardennes forest, you may be able to bypass the Maginot Linie and smash the enemy lines at Sedan. This potentially risky strategy should allow you to outflank and encircle some of your more difficult objectives. All of Germany is united behind you in this endeavor. Do not disappoint us, Herr General.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today I'm returning to Panzer Corps, part 5 of my Let's Play series in which I will play the invasion of France. Now, this video was actually taken from a live stream that occurred over a week ago, and I ended up taking the last night off from live streaming, fell asleep at like 8 o'clock, and slept through till past 1. So for this video, we're just going to use the live stream audio. I was actually planning on doing this in the first place, but we're going to use the live stream audio for this video. And that's because in the first part of my invasion of France, which is what this is, I'll talk more about the strategy that I'm going to pursue in the game. And then from there, we'll go ahead and talk about the actual history behind the invasion, German maneuvers, and all of that. So this is part 5 of my Let's Play series of Panzer Corps. In this video, we will invade France and the Low Countries. We will talk about the gameplay. And in the next part, because this video is a little bit longer, we will break this apart. And in the next part, we'll actually talk about the history. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the stream. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys at the end. Okay, marginal objective, capture all objectives. So the Panzer 4D, the Bf-110D, and the 15 centimeter it's mini S, field howitzer, I don't know what the S is for, 18, so I don't know if that's like a 1918 model of a 150 millimeter cannon, I'm not quite sure. Lefranc, stand by, Mos, what do you do? I'm not a huge... I've had Lefranc a couple of times. It's okay, but I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just... I think I'm more of a fan of Balvenie or Macallan than Lefranc. Lefranc is a little bit peaty for me, although I would like to get into peaty whiskeys. I haven't actually ever had... what's it called? The other really peaty whiskey that's really kind of well known as sort of being a top-end Scotch, but I can't remember. Anyway, so let's see here. Kind of got 3 avenues for invasion. Let's go to the strategic map. You can see here we've got major objectives all along this roadway, so we definitely need to drive a force along this central roadway. But we also have objectives here, and then an objective here and here. I'm wondering if we put the bulk of our force... The problem is there's a river here that's going to hold us up a bit. The thought was you could put your bulk of your force up north, drive, split the force up to move south and then north. They can kind of support each other if necessary. And then you've got roads here that can link them, so you can drive south. But then you still need a force driving along the southern roadway here, most likely. I think the southern way is a little bit less well defended. Lagavanen, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Lefranc isn't bad. I've never had Lagavanen. I think I'll put the bulk of my force on this northern route, and we'll see if that works. We'll see if driving along these routes work. We've got to clear the bridges, which will probably hold us up, which could be a critical error, but we'll see. We've got... Let's go ahead and reinforce our troops up to full strength.
Okay, this guy, we should probably upgrade his tank. He's in a Panzer 1A. We'll go ahead and get him to a Panzer 4D. You can see we have quite a lot of prestige to play with. We ended the last battle with over 1,200. I think that carries over. I'm a big fan of the Panther 4, but I don't want to spend all my money upgrading all of my tanks. So if they're really old and obsolete, we'll upgrade them. The Panther 4, the Panther 3's probably fine. The Panther 2 we should probably upgrade. We'll go ahead and increase the experience. We'll actually up. I'm only going to overstrength my air units. And I wonder if the BF-110 makes more... Could have been a little... Cost a little bit of money. It'll increase its fuel. It'll increase its air defense. So I might as well do that. I think we also need to buy some more air units. So we only have one fighter. I don't think that's enough. We need another BF-110. I'm almost tempted to say get 2. But I don't want to spend all my money on that. We have 2 artillery pieces, which I think is probably sufficient in combination with our air forces. Let's see here. All of our forces are up to strength. 3 armored units may or may not be enough. We've got room for 8 more units, but we only have 800 prestige to play with. I don't really want to spend it on... I don't know if recon units are worth anything. Maybe an engineer unit to lay some bridges. Hopefully that lets us cross this river more easily if we get an engineer unit. I'm not quite sure how they function. I don't think they're great at combat. I would also like another pioneer unit because I think we're going to deal with some dug-in troops. You know, maybe we just bite the bullet and why is the Panther 3 more expensive than the Panther 4? See, the Panther soft... I wish there was a... You know what would be really nice as a feature is if they had like a... You right-click on this and it shows you the 2 side by side. I get that when you hover over it, it gives you the different... It shows you in red and in green what this one is better at or worse at than the one you've selected. They kind of have that already, but I think it would be more clear if you just had an actual side by side. Maybe we buy another artillery. Maybe we buy a heavy artillery. You know, let's get some grenadier infantry. And we've got 199 we'll leave for well, we've got... We'll just do some regular infantry. Alright, so that's our plan. We've got 3 armored units. I thought we bought a 4th. 3 armored units, a lot of infantry, some artillery, and some air. So hopefully that's the right mix. We'll see. I'm saying Panther. It should be Panzer. They're not Panthers yet. You don't have Panthers till later in the war. You know, the other thing is if we drive on the south lane real fast, we can always drive north if we're running slow on the center lane. But you got to move pretty damn fast. All right, we're going to deploy our artillery around these bridgeheads so that we can pound the enemy infantry into submission along these lines. We're going to go ahead and put some pioneers on both of these bridgeheads to overwhelm these defensive positions. And then we're going to have some tanks nearby to hopefully exploit any breakthroughs. So really we're putting the bulk of our forces up north here. We'll have some regular infantry to exploit. And then in the south here, we'll go ahead and have some infantry units, as well as 1 armored unit. So these 4 units are going to drive in the south. Add some engineers. Just trying to think where it makes sense. Might make some sense actually to put an engineer unit here. And then put that other artillery unit The artillery unit here. Unit behind. So we're really going heavy in the north. Actually, take that back. With 2 infantry units here. It's kind of a slow advance toward the center. And then we'll put our air units. I don't really have any artillery in the south. But I think we're going to put our air units heavy in the north. Because again, our main push is going to be in the north. That's kind of my thought process. We'll see how this works out. I'm a big fan of the Panther. For whatever reason, I know it's based off my experience in Combat Mission, which is a faulty experience, but I was always a big fan of the Panther as opposed to the Tiger. I thought the Panther was at the very least, it's a prettier tank. It may not be a better tank, but it's a prettier tank. Okay. All right. Are you kidding? It's rainy on the first day. The first fucking day of the battle, it's rainy. Ugh. Well, that's not going to slow us down at all. For fuck's sake. Ugh. Drive forwards, men. Alright, we're across the river. Alright. Alright, so our engineers lost heavily, but they more or less did their job. Our air units really, and actually, thanks to perhaps the poor weather, just trying to think where the enemy fighter units are located. Probably at this airbase, right? But we've got some airborne units that we can kind of leverage. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so hopefully we can race these air units forward. We've got 2 fighter units in support. We've got flanked by some bombers, but we took 1 objective. We'll take the second tomorrow. And we're across the river in style, thanks in large part to those engineers that allowed us to move across the river more easily. And driving toward the other Belgian objectives. And then hopefully the coast here very quickly. The southern front, I'm a little worried I may have understaffed. But I guess we'll find out. Okay. I think we have some Stugs up here, actually. Oh, that is a Stug. Okay. Alright, these guys driving north are kind of pointless if we broke across the plains that quickly. But we'll see. Yeah, I think that's about it. So we'll go ahead and end the turn. So the enemy has some fixed fortifications behind that town. We destroyed them. They counterattacked. Alright, it is now sunny. Goodness. It's grenadiers. Oh shit. That's the one thing I didn't plan for. Is enemy, heavy enemy defensive, works. Which, if you think about it, I probably should have planned for. Alright. Oh well, we'll pound him next turn with that artillery. Let our engineers do a little bit of work. Alright, let these guys grab some reinforcements. Drive across the river. Move our engineers along the southern line. It's a good thing I put my engineers up front. And there's really no reason to... Well, I guess there's the capital of Brussels. That's a reason to... Trying to think here. What's... Alright, so there are some enemy fighters up here. Which we almost destroyed. Thinking we put some paratroopers. I'm not quite sure where I want to use these paratroopers, but I would like to keep them in their planes, because damn are they mobile. Question is where they can do the most good. Kind of sensing back here, perhaps. Behind this artillery line here, they may be the most useful. Now the problem is there's ACAC here. I also don't know if this is a fighter or a dive bomber, but these guys are kind of sitting ducks. So I'm going to use these to help reduce Namur really quickly. I'm going to drop these paratroopers behind enemy lines, because it's going to take a little longer than I had hoped to move our forces up due to these entrenchments. And that should help make up for some lost time. Meanwhile, on the southern front, we're just going to kind of keep... Oh, we just ran into some enemy troops. Thankfully, we didn't run into an ambush. All right. Berg has fallen. It's the only unit that hasn't moved, so we'll go ahead and skip ahead to the next turn. Ah, shit. Ah! And down they go. Alright, well. I didn't realize the British had that many fighters, or the French. God damn it! Well, I just lost one of my artillery units. I think that was an artillery unit. Yeah. Also lost my pretty much lost my airborne forces. Get them on the ground, but they're going to get destroyed this turn. And we can't even destroy these damn enemy fighters in a single turn. Well, that neatly laid plan blew up in my face. Wow, that artillery was effective. pull these guys back to resupply. Take these dive bombers over here. Okay. Nice. For outstanding service, the 1st Panzer 3F was awarded with the Iron Cross 2nd Class. Good for you guys. Alright, well, the forts didn't hold us up as much as I thought. Of course, now we gotta deal with enemy TAC air. Let's move these engineers north. For outstanding service, blah 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 blah. Alright. Okay. Alright, so enemy artillery, AK, and this is Sedan. It's a heavily defended city, but I'm hoping, given that we were kind of smart and didn't rush in, we can slowly reduce it. And then the southern front just needs to advance to Abbeville. Abbeville, is that how it's pronounced? Alright. So the enemy air is going to be a little annoying. We don't have enough for another fighter either. Not going to attack headlong without some preparation in either case. So I guess we'll end the turn. We'll see how strong the enemy air comes at us. And bye-bye, airborne. Alright, well. Let's destroy their TAC air. Please shoot them all down. There you go. Okay, we actually destroyed an enemy air unit. Huzzah. It's a miracle. Alright, pull the Stuka back. Hopefully the enemy doesn't go for the Stuka. Huh. So the enemy advanced out of their city. We advanced into their rear. Nice. Goodbye, Belgium. Alright. Advance cautiously in the north. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Alright, so Namur fell. Good, good. So the plan is working. Slowly but surely, we're driving the enemy back. Okay. Bring these reserves up. Destroy the enemy artillery with our armor in the south, and then attack the city head-on. Again, flanking is apparently working. Tactics seem to be working thus far for us. I'm going to reinforce these guys. That's all we have for our forces this turn. These fighters are going to need to re-up with some fuel, but we can now fly them to the airbase near Namur, since we just took that. See what the enemy counterattack is this turn. I much prefer the enemy using their air to strafe our ground units. Oh god. French tanks are pretty damn good. Okay. Strategic withdrawal. Do that. Need the fucking Stuka back. Really? Only 1 damage done? Ugh. Alright, we're gonna pause this turn to reinforce our troops. Alright, we're gonna get some reserves for this sort of central thrust. Right here. Whoops. Here. And they did, like, no damage there. Good job, guys. Alright. So some success around these southern cities now. Givel. Alright, let's see what we can do now. I don't know what strategic bombing really does. I didn't know what it meant when it said the town was neutralized that other turn. We really need those Stukas, because these allied tanks are better than ours. But the Stuka kind of evens things out. The problem is the allies really have, I wouldn't say control of the air, but they definitely have some advantages in the air right now. Shit.
And on that note, we're actually going to go ahead and cut the stream off here. You can see early in this invasion of France, things haven't gone quite as according to plan. We captured some objectives a little bit more quickly than I thought. We are driving westward with purpose, but we are not yet broken out. We are running into stiff French resistance. The French have some very good quality tanks that we've had to deal with. But that's where we're at. We're about 30 minutes in. We're about 6 turns into this battle. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. In our next video, as I mentioned at the start, we will talk more about the history of the German invasion of France. This was sort of setting the groundwork from a gameplay and scenario perspective. And in our next video, we'll go ahead and we will talk about the history behind the battle. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.